I mean, some of these cases aren't even solved. I don't believe. Right?
Yeah. They couldn't solve them all. It's called Unsolved Mysteries. Weirdly enough. That's what they call them. It's not called Solved Mysteries. That's not the name of it. Solved Mysteries. Starring Captain Obvious. Coming to a TV near you.
Welcome to Pilots Watching Pilots, the show where we watch pilots of your favorite TV shows. Mike, what do we have on the itinerary today?
Today we watched Unsolved Mysteries, the show from January 20th, 1987. It got its start when the creators saw a special called Missing. Have you seen this person? And then they decided to make their own special starring Raymond Barr, and then they got Carl Malden, then Robert Stack to do a couple special episodes that were very cool, different idea, just segments talking about missing people. And then they decided to make a full TV show. That's what we watched. The show Unsolved Mysteries that we all know and grew up on and loved. The cool thing about the show is nominated for 6 Emmys. It went on. It got canceled in 2002 briefly. Then it got picked back up in 2008. I heard it's picked back up with Netflix in 2019. I don't know when it's coming out. We're definitely going to watch it. So, Ryan, join me. Perhaps you might be able to solve a mystery.
Doubt it. Let's talk about the episode. It is 4 quick stories about missing people, dead people, whatever the case may be.
Unexplained circumstances, deceit, the suggestion of foul play.
The great part about the show is whenever possible, they got the real people involved to be in it, to recreate as much as they could. Acting was not important in this show. They got actors to play, obviously, anyone dead or anything. They hired actors to do that. But when editing the show, they talked about how it was, a lot of times they'd watch it back and they're like, oh, this is cringy. We can't put this on. We need to talk over. So there's a lot of voiceover stuff. The interviews were everything. Interviews with the real people and their parts in talking through the reenactments were really the key to the show, because during the interviews, you look at them and you're like, I'm in. I'm listening to your story. You know the story's real that they're telling, and you're into it. I mean, even with the ghost stuff, like, they believe what they believe and stuff. So that was cool.
This was the only way to determine if the skeleton was indeed Glenn Hyde's.
The science was nuts. The missing boat one with the mirrors.
Bones.
Yeah, bones, mirrors, like, they're looking at 2 mirrors backwards. They're like, yeah, this guy can't
fits. He must be white, male, Caucasian, 6'3", black hair, named Johnson.
He looks like me in this mirror. Like, it was nuts. Yeah, the science was not there. And one of the detectives even said, the only way this case is getting solved if someone comes along and admits they were part of it. And you're like, oh, God. Police work was just not there, you know?
Door by door. Hey, did you do it? No. All right.
He's clean.
Did you do it? No.
This is important to the case. It's got to be if we can identify what that is.
Mike, it's time for that drink. I'm going to call it up this time, bud.
Ryan, what are we drinking?
We are drinking Pendleton whiskey.
That's right. It's a Canadian blended whiskey, which means it should be pretty fucking good.
Buvon.
Is that, what the fuck is that?
That means let's drink in French.
Jesus Christ. Who gave Ryan a goddamn computer in his hand? Let's get these. Oh, fantastic.
That's awfully large.
A little larger than Ryan wanted. All right, so fun facts. Matthew McConaughey, his first acting gig in this show. I thought it was in the Texas Chainsaw series, but no, with Renee Zellweger. No, his very first acting gig was in this show as one of the actors, which is great. So many big actors were in this show and took little parts in this during reenacting and stuff. That's so fun. The show was successful as well because it was very cheap to make. It cost like $375,000 an episode. Like, I mean, that's roughly, it was somewhere a lot cheaper, somewhere a little more expensive. But at the time, you're talking like $1.5 million per episode for a drama on television in the 80s. Like, things were expensive, and you're cranking out an hour of TV for like very, very cheap. And this got an 11th place to finish the year. So like, that's super successful to be able to do. Lastly, I just wanted to say that for me, this was like big stakes TV. This is like every episode, the way that anytime Robert Stack came on and was like, this is what's going on, it reminded me of reality television now, but like then, it was like way ahead of its time as far as you're like, oh wow, this is really going live. Even though they're showing reenactments and all this stuff's kind of like from the past, they're talking about current cases and asking you to call in and react to it. Like, if you've seen this person, call in the episode. If you know, like, even family members and stuff, like, that was really cool. And to me, that was like super high stakes TV, way ahead of 20 years ahead of when reality came about. Ryan, you look sick. You look like that hurt your belly.
We need to take a break.
Well, instead of that, why don't you just give me your recommendations?
Yeah, it's 4 separate stories. They're all compelling for the 48-minute video that we watched, and it was about murder, it was about deception. It's interesting, it's dated, but I mean, try it. I remember as a kid, it was like, this is so great, it's like terrifying, like maybe my neighbor is a murderer, and it was always, you didn't think that?
Yeah, I just didn't. I mean, because they showed the picture, so I'm like, oh, which neighbor? Yeah.
Yeah, I was waiting for the picture to come up.
Yeah.
And then update.
Perhaps someone watching tonight knows what happened and can reveal the truth. Perhaps it's you.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I think you have to watch this. We're putting all of the episodes fully of the series. I found them all on YouTube. They've released them all. We're putting all of it in the description. You gotta watch these. These are so important. I think the first one that we have here is great. It's good. Watch the Dennis Farina ones from 2008 too. Watch them all. This is so bingeable. And we live in a world where everything is like, oh, who's the next murder now? Every time there's new murder, within 5 to 10 years, there's a great documentary about it in these days, right? Like,
yeah.
We're living in that world. You hear about a big hero. It's like, oh, Jean Bonnet, Casey Anthony, Aaron Hernandez. We're living in this world where like true crime is just blown up, and it's not morbid. It's just because people want to know the truth. And in this false truth world that we live in, it's nice to have some kind of truth, to find certain things out. And this show was very, very on the cutting edge of finding out the truth of things. They were like, okay, sure, there's some ghost episodes and some UFO episodes, but in over half of the episodes in this, people were found. They found the killers. Over 100 families were reunited during this. Like, it's important. The show's very important. There was a lot of stuff that came to be because of this show. A lot of people had their final resolutions, and a lot of stories were told because of this. I love stories. This was a great show telling people stories, people that you might not have heard of in any other circumstance. So to me, that's fantastic, and this is an absolute must-watch. Ryan, land this fucking plane.
Hey, Margarita. Hey, Margarita. Hey.
I thought we were done with the dancing and singing, but here we are. Subscribe to our channel. I didn't say that. Ryan normally says that part, but just subscribe, Just fucking hit the sub button, man.
I don't know how it does.